Hi, so this is Michelle. I'm back with more information. Um, and this is for those that have an interest in a bachelor's degree. So I've noticed that I've had a lot of information coming out for the master's and doctorate programs. And so the information I have here is for those that are interested in bachelor's. Okay, so so the first piece of information that I have is if you're interested in, I'm not getting paid by the military or West Point to talk to y'all about this, but this is what I did, and to ensure that I didn't incur a lot of military or educational debt. So so I wanted to share it with you. One is a program in the military. It's it's called Military Tuition Assistance. And so what it is that you can sign up as a reservist, National Guard, or active duty. And the tuition assistance is the military pays the school. So they don't pay you, they'll pay the school. And so, but this program is fantastic. I used my military, used the tuition assistance, and I used my GI Bill. I used depleted both of it. And, but I finished my associate's degree and my bachelor's degree. So, who's eligible for tuition assistance? These are some of the fact questions that I've gotten that folks may be asking. And so, the first question is, what is the military tuition assistance? It's a benefit provided to eligible active duty National Guard and Reserve, covering the cost of tuition education. You have to be in good standing. You have to make sure that you pass your weight and your PT test and your events like you're supposed to. So not a big it's not hard. So, but they will pay for your tuition assistance. Okay, so question number 2. Who is eligible for the TA? We call it TA. Who is eligible? Okay, we've already went over that. That's active duty National Guard and the reservists. How much does the TA cover? Okay, the TA typically covers 100% of the tuition costs. As long as the school is $250 per credit hour. And so most schools will, you ask them, do they accept TA? And they will tell you. And so when they do, they'll also tell you, yeah, because you join the military, you get 25% off. So it'll be $250 per credit hour instead of the standard $350 per credit hour. The annual cap of $4,500 fiscal year for eligible service members. Okay, question number 4. Are there any out-of-pocket expenses for service members using TA? Okay, so TA often covers most tuition costs, but you'll still need to pay your books. You can probably pay your books online. You can rent them through Chegg, and they're not very expensive. You can get the school, you can get the books and used, and so But no, the TA doesn't cover the books. If you wanted stipend will come through your GI Bill. So, okay. Now, and your GI Bill will, after you're finished military duty, that's when you'll get your GI Bill. Because you don't need to. When you sign up military, you will have 100% tuition assistance, which will cover cover everything. And so you won't even need to use your GI Bill until after you retire or after you're done doing your contract. Okay. Can TA be used for any type of a degree program? The TA is they will only fund if you are in a program. So only the courses that are in a program. So if you're in an associate's, a bachelor's, master's, or some certain certificate programs are the only programs that they will fund. But you must be in a degree program in order to use tuition assistance. Are there any academic requirements to maintain TA eligibility? You do. You have to maintain a C or higher for undergraduate courses and a B or higher for graduate courses. Okay, number 7. Can military tuition assistance be used while on active duty? Yes. Yes, that's the time when you want to use it. You want to use your TA during active duty or your service time, whether you're active duty, reservist, National Guard. So yes, that's the time to use it, is when you are in your service time. Okay, can reservists and National Guard members use tuition? Yes, we've already gone over that. Okay, so let me see here. What's the other questions that we have? Does tuition assistance cover online education? Yes. As long as the school is accredited. And so there are some tricky schools out there, but make sure that the school that you are, and they're under a list. Like the Army, the military has got a list of schools that they do work with. They have them already listed in the education center. So if they're not on that list, then don't go to that school, because chances are that they're not accredited. So, okay. And you'll have to pay for separately if you want to go to the school. You'll have to pay separately rather than using the TA. Does TA cover the cost of textbook? No. What happens if the service member fails a course funded by TA? If a service member fails a course, they may be required to repay the TA funds used for that course, unless the failure was due to circumstances beyond their control. So if you fail the course, then you'll have to pay for it. So let's see here. What is the limit to the number of courses TA will cover? An annual limit of $4,500 each year. Can TA be used for a graduate program? TA can be used for a graduate program as long as a service member meets eligibility, and as long as you meet eligibility and the school is accredited. Okay. How do service members apply for tuition assistance? Service members must apply through their branch's education office or portal. such as armyignite.mil. So you can go to armyignite.mil, create an account, and then they can start getting you into the system. And you can also, what you should do is go to your education center at your military installation or any closest one to you, and ask them to talk to you about it, walk you through it. This is your first go around of introduction to tuition assistance. So they'll be more than happy to. They'll be more than happy to talk to you about TA and what you can and can't do, what's required. Yeah, because Army Ignite is the page that you will put your courses into. You won't put your courses. You won't put your courses into the school system. You'll put your courses into armyignite.mil. And so it's different when you're active duty. Now when you're a reservist, no, it'll still be the same. It'll still be the same even if you're a reservist or National Guard. So you'll put all of your courses the courses that you're requiring for that particular semester, and you'll put them in Army Ignite. You might want to note that because if you go to the school and you put your courses in that, then you're going to be paying for those courses because the Army won't pay for them. So you have to put them in through Army Ignite. You can't put them through the school because here again, it's accredited through the school. Has to see the Army in their system, and the Army has to see the school in their system, and so that's kind of important. You might want to write that down. I've never had that problem, but you don't want to have to pay for 5 courses or for 2 courses, and that's an extra that's an extra $2,000 or more. So yeah, when you put in for your classes, you put them into the armyignite.mil and not through the school itself. But the school will be able to see all of that. Okay. Can TA be used for private colleges and universities? Yes. TA can be used for both public and private institutions as long as they are accredited through tuition caps still apply. My associate's degree was through a private school. And so it was a private school online out of Florida for my medical analytics. And so as long as they will tell you when you talk to them that they see the Army sees the university in their system, then you're good. Because they're the ones that's paying for it. So you want to make sure that that the Army sees the school in their system. Okay, so on to question 17. What expenses are not covered by the tuition assistance? Books, personal supplies, room and board, tuition costs, or any tuition costs beyond the cap. So, yeah, that's pretty standard. Does tuition assistance affect GI Bill eligibility? No. Tuition assistance and GI eligibility are 2 separate funding banks. They're 2 separate funding banks. The time that you'll never use your GI Bill during your service time. You'll never use that. You keep that for once you get out or once you retire. Your TA is what you'll use while you're in. So when you're in active duty, reserve, National Guard, that's when you'll use the TA. So those are two separate banks. Um, and um, and so the GI eligibility and tuition, they don't affect each other. Number 19, can TA be used for certifications and licenses? TA can be used for some professional certifications or licenses if the program is offered through an accredited institute and meets the eligibility criteria. So you can look this up through Army Ignite if there's like a flight school that you want to attend, or and sometimes you can ask the school, do y'all accept tuition assistance from military? And they'll tell you for sure, yes or no. And then you can go to the call the education number and at your local education center and ask them, hey, does the tuition assistance, will it pay for this particular flight school? And they will tell you. And so most times you can see it right there on Army Ignite, and you can just you're requesting tuition assistance for this particular school, and if you don't see it on there, if it doesn't pop up, then chances are it's not in the Army system. But you can still try to plug it in, and then maybe call the education center if you don't see it up there. Okay, number 20. Is TA available to all service members in all branches of the military? Yes. Each branch of the military offers its own version of TA through either Air Force, Army, National Guard, Army Reserves, and you can, when you sign up with whichever element that you want, say you want Navy or you want Air Force, but you want to attend Air Force because you want this program, you can ask them before you sign anything. Just ask them, does the Air Force have tuition assistance, and can you provide that in writing so that I'll be able to reference that? And very good question. Very good question. Yeah. So when you go into the recruiter, ask them, do they provide tuition assistance? Because my plan is, once I get in, is to work on my education program. And so, and they'll tell you. Okay. 21. Does tuition assistance cover out-of-state tuition? Yes. Tuition covers, TA covers tuition costs. It's the $250 per credit hour cap applies regardless of whether the service member is attending in-state or out-of-state institution. So, yes. Can TA be used to pay for a second degree? Yes, absolutely. You can use it. You can use all of it the entire time that you're in. So you can use it for your associate's degree, and then continue on and use it for your bachelor's degree. Continue on and use it for a master's degree. As long as you're in, and as long as you're in good standing, then you can use your associate's, a bachelor's, and a master's, and a doctorate. 23. How does TA different from the GI Bill? I think we went over that already. So, number 24. Can service members use TA while deployed? Yes, you can. You can use the TA while you're deployed. What I would recommend is, that's really tricky, because I wouldn't. You can, but I wouldn't. Because I not only say that because your direct attention and your direct amount is going to be on your deployment. And if you step up off of that course during that time because of your mission, you'll end up paying for it. So I would say, take your courses when you're in garrison, and when you're deployed. I wouldn't. I think I've done that once, and I didn't enjoy it at all. And they only wrote it off because they said, well, you're deployed, so we're gonna write it off. So, okay. Let's see here. Number 25. What happens if a service member has to withdraw from a course? Okay. If a service member withdraws from a course, they may be required to repay the TA funds unless the withdrawal is due to military-related circumstances. Okay, that is absolutely true. If you're in a course and you come down on orders, whether if you're deploying or you're going to another post, but you are on orders to go somewhere else, then I've done that several times. All you can do is just give call the admissions and tell them that you are under orders for X, Y, and Z, and that you need to be excused from the class, and then basically what you do is you can go to their office and talk to them about it, or you can talk to them over the phone about it, and they'll usually excuse you. And I've had to do that probably 3 or 4 times, but yeah, they don't hold anything against you. They don't charge you for the class. You just tell me you're on orders and you are moving to X, Y, and Z. And you can give them your unit's number for any questions that they have. Give them your unit's number and let the unit tell the school, to verify that. And so, but yeah, that's the time to if you've got to go, you're under orders, just call your school, tell them, and give them the units, the office, the orderly room's number, and tell them for verification, call my command, and call the first sergeant, orderly room, commander, call any of those folks, and they will help you. Okay. So number 27. Are there restrictions on which schools qualify for TA? Yes, there are restrictions. So when you go to TA and there are restrictions, what you do is you basically go to Army Ignite, see if they're in the system, and if they are, you're good. You just, you sign everything up, and you connect upload all your documents, and you fill out your account and wait for approval. However, if they're not, then, and you really still want to go to that school, then you can call the education center, the closest one to you, whether it's on post or whether it might be, and you call them and tell them that you don't see this school in your Army Ignite. Do you mind if you can look it up and see if the school is under the system, within the system of the Army? And then the education center will tell you. They'll tell you, yes, you're good, go ahead. or they'll say, if you don't see it, then it's probably listed in a different way, but they are good. Or if they're not good, then say that's probably not accredited school. Look for a different school. Okay, so number 28. How is TA affected by service members' rank and length of service? TA eligibility can vary based on service members' rank and length in service. Some branches may require a minimum time in service before allowing access to TA benefits. No, I've never heard that. I've never heard that that you have to wait 12 months before you can sign up once you get in. No. Let's see here. But it says can vary based on the length of service. So it can vary. But not more than a year. Number 29. Can service members use TA for vocational or technical training? Yes. TA can be used for a vocational technical training program as long as they are provided by accredited institutions. Accredited. The Army does not want you to go to a school that's not accredited. So the private school that I went to is still accredited. It was just, it was, and it wasn't even a small school. It was just Michelle doing her own thing. So, okay, number 30. Does using TA require service commitment? Some branches may require service members to remain on active duty for a certain period of time after using TA. You have to have so much time left. You have to have, I think it's 12 months left on your contract to where they will continue to fund you and they will continue to keep you on the roster to be able to use TA. So you have to have at least 12 months still on your roster. Okay, so that's tuition assistance you could use that for your associate's degree, your bachelor's degree, some flight schools, some technical schools, and your education center is spot on. They will be able to tell you exactly which ones are accredited and which ones that the Army will pay and the Army accepts. Okay, so the next one that I wanted to share with you is, and I work with a lot of cadets in what I'm retiring from now. But I work with a lot of cadets, and they're really good students and really good soldiers. But what I wanted to share with y'all today is that same program. Well, theirs is a ROTC program. So an ROTC program is to where they go in for the ASVAB and they score a 110 or higher. Okay, so since they score 110 or higher, then the Army says to them, you've scored 110 or you've scored 112. Are you interested in going to becoming an officer in the military? And you can go to school and the Army will pay for the school. So it's called the ROTC program. You still drill, you still go to drill, like a Army drill 2 days out of the month. That's the ROTC program. It is still very good, and you're under the contract as an ROTC reservist, so it's still a very good program and something to look into if you're interested in. This one is a totally separate program. This one, still military, but it's a separate program. This one is called the West Point Officers School. Okay, so West Point is an academy that's in New York. And you basically, when you have an interest to go to West Point, you have an interest to be an officer. And at least 6 years as an officer. So, but you have to have certain criteria personally to be able to be accepted into the school. Like you can have never been married. You don't have any children. Okay. And you have to have a high ASVAB exam, 110 or higher, and you have to have high ACT scores. So, but this school is really fantastic. I've worked with some of these cadets, and this is they're fantastic. Okay. And don't think that they're hard to get into. A lot of my soldiers, during my active duty time, my soldiers, I looked at their scores and they were spot on. They could have attended West Point, and they just chose their own path in their life, which is fine too. So, but okay. So I'm going to read right through this, and number one, what is West Point? West Point is a prestigious military academy located in New York, officially known as the United States Military Academy, USMA. It trains future Army officers in academics, leadership, and military skills. Okay, so once you sign a contract, and once you go in for the tests, and you pass all the tests, and the recruiter tells you, we're all good to go. You've passed all the tests, all the numbers are good. Now we're ready for contract time. Okay, so basically what happens is they'll give you a contract time, pick up a date, and those types of things. And basically how it works is that you live at West Point. And you'll live there and study there. They'll pay for your housing, the full ride. They'll pay for your housing, they'll pay for your food, they will pay for your tuition, and they will pay you a salary. And so it's a full ride to go to West Point. So your studies will be in your academics, your degree of your choice. You'll study in military leadership, and you'll study in military skills. And so most are in there for 4 years, and the recruiter will tell you the exact amount of time that you need to be at West Point, but most of them are there for 4 years. Who can apply to West Point? Applicants must be United States citizen, at least 17, but no older than 23. No older than 23 on July the 1st of the year. They enter unmarried with no legal obligation to support children. So you can't have been married, and you can't have any children up to this point. And of good moral character. So you might have some references that they'll need to have. You can get some references from some folks. Number 3, what are the academic requirements for West Point? Applicants need a strong academic record, typically a high GPA, high standardized test scores of SATs and ACTs, a rigorous course load in high school, including math, science, and English. Number 4. Is there a physical fitness requirement to attend West Point? Yes. Applicants must pass the Candidate Fitness Assessment, CFA, which tests physical abilities such as push-ups, sit-ups, shuttle run, pull-ups, a basketball throw, and a 1-mile run. Number 5. What leadership experience is needed for West Point? Leadership experience in schools, sports, community, or extracurricular activities are highly valued, especially if applicants have served in leadership roles like team captain or class president. Everyone in West Point has a responsibility role, not during the entire 4 years, but it will be issued to you. They'll tell you you'll be squad leader for X amount of time. Once you're done, it'll go to so-and-so. And so, so that's basically how it's always done. And, but you'll always, most of the times they'll have a role, whether you're a platoon sergeant, okay, now you'll be in the role of an officer, not in a role as an enlisted. So, which means they're training you already to be in the position as an officer. How to apply to West Point? Applicants must complete an extensive application, which includes securing a nomination, submitting academic records, letters of recommendation, usually 3, essays, that's standard, and completing medical and physical examinations, that's standard. Question number 7, what is a nomination and how do I get one? A nomination is a requirement of admission to West Point and can be obtained from a U.S. Senator, Representative, or Vice President, among other sources like a military-affiliated nominations. The recruiter will be able to link you up with nominations when it comes to attending, or you can just call the school and ask the admissions what they mean by nominations, or look it up. Okay, so what's the next question? Question number 8. What are the medical requirements for West Point? Applicants must meet the medical standards set by the Department of Defense Medical Examination Review Board, DoD MERB. This includes vision, hearing, and overall health assessments. Is West Point free to attend? Question number 9. Yes, West Point is tuition free. Cadets receive a full scholarship. So this is what I was telling you. Cadets receive a full scholarship that covers tuition, room, board, and medical and dental. In exchange, cadets commit to serving as an officer after graduation. So you might have a 6-year contract, which means after you're done with the 4 years, then you've got 2 years. And so it all depends on what you signed on in the contract of what you'll be doing after you graduate. What is the service commitment after graduating from West Point? Graduates must serve a minimum of 5 years of active duty in the U.S. Army, followed by 3 years in the reserves. Minimum of 5 years of active duty in the Army, followed by 3 years in the reserves. Question number 11. What kind of degree do cadets receive at West Point? Cadets graduate with a Bachelor's of Science degree in their chosen major, which combines academic and military training. Number 12. What majors are available at West Point? West Point offers over 30 majors in the fields such as engineering, science, humanities, social science, and management. You can look on their website to find all the degrees that you have an interest in. What is Beast Barracks? Beast Barracks is a rigorous 6-week summer basic training program for incoming cadets. It helps transition them from civilian life to discipline life to the West Point Academy. It's basic training. Beast Barracks. That's basic training. Can cadets leave West Point if they change their mind? Cadets can leave West Point without any obligation within the first 2 years. After beginning their 3rd year, they are obligated to serve in the military unless they leave for medical reasons. What is the daily schedule like at West Point? A typical day starts early with physical training, PT at 5:30 a.m., followed by academic classes, military training, and extracurricular activities, with the lights out usually at 11 p.m. What is the honor code at West Point? West Point's honor code states a cadet will not die. A cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. It's a foundational part of cadet life and is strictly enforced. Are cadets allowed to have free time at West Point? Free time is limited, especially during plebe year. However, as cadets advance, they gain more free time to engage in social activities, clubs, sports, and trips off campus. What kinds of extracurricular activities are available at West Point? West Point offers 100 clubs and organizations, including academic clubs, military societies, recreational sports, performing arts, and service organizations. Can cadets play sports at West Point? Yes, cadets can participate in NCAA division, in the athletics, or in the intramural sports. West Point is known for its strong athletic programs, especially in football, basketball, track, and field. What leadership opportunities do cadets have at West Point? West Point provides numerous leadership opportunities through military training, student government, clubs, and teams. Upperclassmen lead and mentor younger cadets. Question number 22. I hope y'all can see me okay in this camera. Question number 22. What is branch night at West Point? Branch night is when cadets find out which branch of the Army they will serve in after graduation, such as infantry, aviation, engineering, or military intelligence. Is there a summer program for high school students interested in West Point? Yes, the Summer Leaders Experience, SLE, is a week-long program for high school juniors to experience cadet life and get a taste of West Point academics, physical, and leadership challenges. Number 24, down to finishing up at question 30. 24, what is the West Point curriculum like? The curriculum at West Point is a balanced combination of academics, military training, physical fitness, and leadership development designed to prepare cadets for service as Army officers. Do cadets get paid while attending West Point? Yes. You have a salary while you're there. You have your responsibilities, of course. Your responsibilities is go to your classes, pass your classes, pass your exams, pass the Army events, physical fitness, and different trainings that the military has, and make sure that your courses are going as planned. So yeah. Let's see what's. So yeah, y'all get so y'all get paid there. You get a salary. You get tuition. Tuition free. It's a full ride there, and cadets receive a monthly stipend to cover uniform, books, and other personal expenses. The stipend increases each year. Number 26, what is the cadet uniform like at West Point? They wear distinctive uniforms based on their year and occasion. The uniforms include daily cadet gray, dress uniforms for formal cadets, and military uniforms for field exercises. Question number 27. What is Army-Navy Week at West Point? Okay, this is the annual lead up to the Army-Navy football game. A historic rivalry between the two academies. It includes parades, spirit events, and various traditions. Number 28, are cadets allowed to go home during the academic year? They do. They have limited time to go home. They can take leave during certain holidays and breaks, but much of their time is spent on campus or in training. 29, can cadets choose their Army branch after graduation? Cadets rank their branch preferences during their senior year. That means during your senior year, they'll come around to you and you'll put which branch it is that you want to be in once you graduate. And you can put it out of threes. First one, your first choice, 2 being your second choice, and 3 being your third choice. Assignments are based on the needs of the Army, individual performance, and branch availability. What is the long-term career outlook for West Point graduates? West Point graduates have strong career prospects in the Army and the civilian life. The Army's education, leadership training, and alumni network goes strong for a very, very long time. So when you make your decision of where you'll get your education of your bachelor's degree, I hope that you choose to stay out of debt. I hope you choose the career that fits you in your life, and it was my education just went so fast, and so I didn't even notice that all the benefits until later. I realized later that, wow, I'm so glad that I completed my bachelor's. I'm so glad that I stayed out of debt. And so, and I hope that you choose the same thing. Um, any more questions that, if y'all have any questions for me, leave them in the comment. And next week I'll bring some more information to you about opportunities with education. I know we've been talking a lot about masters and doctorates. This time I want to talk about bachelors and how to get through. Sometimes that could be the tough one, but so I want to talk about the bachelors, and if I come across more information for the bachelors, the full ride on a bachelor's program. Other ways that you can get a full ride on a bachelor's is if you are under a scholarship. Maybe you're under a football scholarship. Maybe you are in a tennis scholarship. Lots and lots of programs out there. You could be in a music scholarship. You could go to a school called Winston in Pennsylvania, get a bachelor's degree, and because you live in Pennsylvania, you could study there as an artist. So I want to encourage you, and I want to give you resources so that you'll will be able to find what you're looking for, and so that help you make a decision of what you'll do and going to school, and you'll see that there's options, and so that you'll find so that you'll stay out of debt, and you won't have to fork out a lot of money, but some of us do. We do. So we still do, just because of the school we want to go to. All right, well, that's from me, Michelle. I'm so glad y'all were here. Please like and subscribe. This was a full almost an hour, and it's usually not that long. I promise the next one I won't make it so long. Like and subscribe, and thanks for those that have liked and subscribed. The channel's doing super well. I want y'all to send me messages, anything I can help you with, and don't hesitate. And and let's go hunting for the school and the education that fits us the best. Thanks for watching.